right there. That'll have to go. That'll have to work. I got a truck next to me revving up a little bit. I'll give people some time to get into the room for a second. Just wanted to answer some questions that I had about my last video, and I'm like, I can't type that. It makes no sense for me to sit and try to, how do I get likes before I even have people in the room? I ain't even done nothing yet, people. I'm just saying. I dig that. That's awesome. Thank you for the like. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. Okay? It's not a debate. It's not my thoughts versus someone else's thoughts. It's not even how you feel about it. Okay? This isn't about feelings or what you wish would happen or what you are used to. I'm giving you truth and facts based on what's up right now, like what's really happening right now. I go all over the internet. I've got people though who go over the internet in different places, and not specifically for me, but for the world, and they put information up, and they have the time to go and search things out and say, hey, this might be interested, you know, of interest to the people who are following me on this site, and they put it up. So we network. So I am not someone who has time to go onto the internet, but I do, to go searching everywhere for all types of information, but I do find a lot of stuff, and I contribute. Okay? So what you're getting from me is a filtered version of stuff that I see on the internet. In other words, you're not getting everything that I see on the internet. You're getting a small sampling of what I think is important to people and to truck drivers. Okay? So when I put something up here, I'm not saying that you just have to believe me 100%. Don't believe a word I say. Go on the internet and look it up. Okay? But it's really not debatable. Once I've put it out there, I really do try to look at about 7 or 10 different sources. And I'm not talking about just sources that are people. I'm talking about the AP wire. Oh, my battery's dying. Let me charge that up. But I'm talking about the AP wire. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah, so check this out. Let me plug this power up or it's gonna die. Let's see if I can get this plugged up. Man, it's always a fight with the power cord. There we go. Okay, you'll be good now, people. Trying to get you a decent view of the flag and in the sky so we won't get photobombed by a bunch of cars. But here's what's up. I go to the AP wire. I go to the New York Times. I go to the Washington Post. I go with NPR, National Public Radio, which is actually not just on radio, they have websites and internet. BBC, which is British broadcasting channel, but it's British Broadcasting Company, and the Queen of England, basically, well, it's the government of England, you would say, but they approve what goes on their channels, and it's a different type of propaganda than what we have over here in the United States. If we have something over here that we think, oh, well, that shouldn't be up, Britain doesn't care. Britain will put it up. So it may be something that's like, woo, why, I'm surprised they put that up. Yeah, in this country, you're surprised they put that up, but they're like, hey, we got no shame in it, and it didn't affect us to where it's anything we should, you know, not put up, so let's put it up. So BBC, British Broadcasting, if you talk about their channels, 1 through 72 over here in the United States would be, well, ABC, NBC, they try to name them different names. Over there, they're not even playing. They know the government runs it, and they're like, okay, BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3, yeah, she might be. Who knows? I got you, man. You trolling me now, but that's cool. So check this out. I got you. Listen, I'm glad you're tuned in. So here's the thing. I go to BBC, that's BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3, but I go to, they have a radio televised thing for BBC that's, one of them is like World News, BBC World News, then they have BBC something else, then BBC something else. Yeah, oh, by the way, what's up, Bobby Brown? What's up to Phantom 903? Yeah, I got you, bro. So, but they have all the BBC channels. Okay. And then there's also the NPR is National Public Radio for over here. Okay. And then the AP wire is when a bunch of journalists are overseas and they've got nothing else to communicate or whatever, or for whatever reason, before there were satellite phones, before whatever, they had a way to get onto the internet and publish their findings of what happened on the AP wire, Associated Press. That means anybody that's in the press can go on the AP and put it up, and before it's debunked, if you see it fast enough, or before somebody takes it down because it is something that they don't like to go up in their country, you get to see it. Let's see, man, I'm just chilling, got off work, easy. Listen to the program. Okay, cool. So, you know, I go to the Washington Post, I go to New York Times, I go to NPR, I go to BBC, I go to Associated Press. You know, I go with, and I'm fixing to get photobombed. See, that's why I tilted it up like that. There's no avoiding this. Everybody wants to be in my video. So anyways, one day I'll be famous. So check this out. So, you know, when I mentioned that they were going to cut the food stamp program and change it, and like right now we're in a shutdown. Yes, right now at this moment we're in a government shutdown. We have been for a couple months now, and 800,000 people out of work. They're going to the food banks, and the food banks are going to be running out of food real fast. There's places that are churches that are boxing up food. They have this whole box food, but this is a whole different deal, because the food stamps, they've already early gave people February's food stamps. Now, I found where they said they needed to buy food now and be smart about it. Someone else wanted to debunk that or make a comment and say, well, they didn't say now, they said whatever, and make it last. Okay, let's see, Pearl Watch, that's another good one. BP Earthwatch, hey, I'll write it down. Anything you got, yeah, put it up as a comment after the video's up too. BP Earthwatch. So here's the thing. All right. You know, they wanted to say that, well, you know, what they saw on the internet said that they just wanted you to get the February food stamps early and use them wisely. No. What I saw was use them now before food prices go up. And when I tried to explain, the words I used were not understood. So I'll go through that. If you say cost and demand, if you're talking about a car lot and you say, well, everybody wants a car and we've got them, then you have a high demand, okay? I'm sorry, so supply and demand. Maybe I say cost and demand. Supply and demand. Supply and demand for a car. Let's see. I'm picking oranges right off the tree down here in Corpus Christi. I got you. Free food. That's what they need to do, like they did in Germany, is plant a bunch of fruit trees in the medians, or I wouldn't say the medians, on the side of the interstate or anywhere, you know, where they've got parking, so that homeless people can have something to eat. That's what I think. But now check this out. All right. If you have cars on the car lot and everybody wants them, then all of a sudden you have a low supply and a high demand. That's supply and demand in that way. However, if a bunch of people go buy food at the grocery store because they're trying to get the food cheaper on their food stamps now, and then there's no supply, then it's not so much that the prices will go up from that. See, they get food on a deal and then they go buy more food at a deal and they supply it to you as cheaply as possible. I'll start with milk. If all the food stamp people go buy milk, then they can keep it cheap for a bit and order more milk. But once they order more milk and a bunch of it goes bad and they have to send it back to Mayfield or whoever's doing the milk in that area, then you have a problem that they're like, we didn't make any money off this milk. We're going to have to up the price of milk to make up for that. So just because there's a bunch of supply does not mean you won't be charged a higher price for them to get it to you. Just like if fuel goes up, it costs them more to get you milk then. So fuel goes up, the price of milk. I always watch the price of milk, always. That is the pulse of the United States food price. That's the pulse that you take, is check milk. Milk, you can check bread, but check milk, okay? Because when fuel goes up, milk prices go up. If people are not having money to buy food, milk is also going to go up because they still want to make the same amount of money. I believe will be, let's see what we got here. Try this again. That I believe will be around $6 a gallon. Yeah, I don't know if it'll go to $6 a gallon. I'm trying to figure out, is it going to be 40% of the income they're going to lose when they get off food stamps? Food stamps are ending people. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Right now we're in a shutdown, and right now they gave them to you early for February, and they said after that there will be none for March, and if they do have any for March, it'll be 40% reduction. What I have found is that they are putting a bill through that has to do with them making, at first, I say at first, a new deal, a new program. It's a whole new deal. It's going to be implemented ASAP because they are going to save, the numbers are $213 billion with a B. $213 billion. You're right, brother. Milk is the pulse. Yeah, it really is, you know. So $213 billion, right, is what the government wants to get their hands on. They're running it like a checkbook. So wake up, people. You are just another cost to the government, okay? You're just a cost. In running the government, you happen to be a cost, okay? Some people, I'm not going to use any type of wording, though, that makes you feel bad. So understand this. If you're on food stamps, great. You're a citizen. Welcome to the United States. Okay? I'm your friend. I'm your brother. I'm with you. We're in a struggle together. We're all struggling. Okay? But I'm not going to use any kind of wording like drain on society or things like that, because people have their ups and downs in life. Everybody needs a little help. I got a Backpacks for the Homeless video. Like I said, I should have put that link on the last one. I help people because I even need. Okay, but understand what I'm telling you is, if they're running it as a checkbook, it's the same way if you're running a company and you got 2 people that are lazy and won't do their job and 10 people that are working, and them 10 people come to you and say, okay, we could do better, we're gonna make more money, we're gonna move forward and be profitable this quarter and this and that, but those 2 people gotta go. Or you gotta cut their pay. Or you know, that's how the government's run. And you are a person in this country. And if you are on food stamps, understand that you are a target for reduction in cost. Okay, whether you like it or not. It's not about whether you are a likable person. It doesn't matter if you do your duty as a civilian and go and help people, and if you go to church every Sunday. It has nothing to do with what type of person you are. You are simply a cost factor, and they do a cost benefit analysis on our country, and they're running it like a checkbook, and they have found that they can save $213 billion by implementing the program that I'm talking about. It's not the current program. It's not what you're seeing. What you're seeing is a government shutdown, and you won't get your EBT or SNAP or your they called them welfare and food stamps, but also your HUD housing. HUD is going to be affected. They said other housing may or may not be affected. They're already giving out notices to people, eviction notices, especially in Arkansas, like I said, but it's just a snapshot of the whole country. The report on Arkansas, I'll put a link to it. My point being, this new deal that no one has heard about, okay? Sending out food boxes. I heard they was stopping the food stamps and going to start sending out food boxes to the people. Yeah, Phantom 903, that's what I'm talking about. And it was going to save the government $213 billion. They are going to do it, and it will pass. And it's going to, at first, it's going to be, if you make at least $90 a month in food stamp benefits, SNAP benefits, it will be reduced, and half of your benefits will be gone, and they'll send you a box of food. Then once that program, okay, shows viability, right, once they have gotten to the point where they say, okay, we have proof of concept and it's successful program. They're gonna say words like successful, okay? They're gonna say, hey, this program has been successful, that we have sent out boxes of food to people instead of giving them benefits, and it made up for 40%. Then they're going to go 100% boxes and save the rest of that money. Listen to me, people, just like they used to do a long time ago. Now, let's say, hey, you say, hey, truck and stuff, man, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Well, you know, they won't do that. Okay, I'm gonna give you case and point example, and then I'm gonna rest my case on that part. They used to have Bowen Homes in Atlanta. They used to have, man, I can't even think of the name of it now, because it was, hold on a second, man, why can't I even think of the name of that project? All the projects, people, they just called them the projects, but in Georgia and in other states, now they look like old military bases. They're all closed up. They closed them up. They even closed up a hotel that people wound up living in after that. Closed up the whole hotel. Let's see, it was Bowen Homes, Bankhead Courts, bam, Bankhead Courts. Ever heard of a place called Bankhead Courts? Well, you ain't gonna live there now because they closed it. People lived in those homes, okay? There was two reasons. When the Olympics came to town, it was a land grab, but then it was even after that they closed up more of them because of they wanted to lower the amount of public housing and money they were given towards it, and this and that, because they haven't even done anything with that land. They just closed them up. Those buildings are still there, okay? And they did that thing where they put homeless people on buses and they called it Greyhound therapy, and they just sent them away. Hey, I'll give you a free ride and, you know, 10 bucks and you could go to Florida. It's really nice weather down there. And that guy's cold on a bench. He's like, okay. He gets on a bus and bam, and Florida's calling Georgia or Alabama or North Carolina saying, why are you sending these people? How'd they get down here? What is going on? It's because they had something going on in that town and they didn't want their rich people that were going down there for a business trip to walk by a homeless person to see that there's homeless people. It's called Greyhound therapy. Listen, if you think that they won't ship you out too, yeah. So, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories about it. I'm talking about what really, actually, truly happens, okay? So, nobody talks about Greyhound therapy. It's a real thing. Nobody talks about how they closed up all of the housing projects. It's a real thing. Those places are still there. They're not using them for nothing. They're just bone dry, bare, but you can't live there. Nobody's living there, but you can't live there for free. And so they were paying for people, and it was public housing. They shut that down, and it's a cost-benefit analysis, and they are like, hey, we're saving money. Right now, they are changing the food stamp program, and if you don't think they'll do it, go look at those housing projects that are closed. Go look at what has happened in the past, and go forward with it, and look into the future and say that is a projected line that they're going in. They're running it like a checkbook, which is nothing wrong with running a country like a checkbook, but they have reduced people from food stamps. They have refused people from getting food stamps and denied them. They'll tell you if you are working at all, you're not going to get food stamps. They're going to absolutely cut out the whole, what they want to call an entitlement program or whatever. They can call it what they want, but it's happening. So if you are on food stamps, listen to me. You need to get a revenue stream, okay? I'm gonna read a couple comments, right? I'm gonna try to. It's just at a bad angle, but I'm gonna get into some comments. I'm gonna read these comments, but that's what I was talking about, and I will put a link on this video. If you just have a hard time finding stuff on the internet, no worries. I'll put a link to the exact article on one paper alone, then I'll go back and I'll put 5 or 6 more, because if it's just like what they talked about. Like this girl, Virginia, she wrote the New York Times and said, my dad said, I asked him if Santa Claus was real. He said, well, if you see it in the New York Times, then it's real. She wrote a letter to the New York Times, the little kid. She says, okay, my dad says if it's in the New York Times, is it real? So they did an op-ed in there a long time ago. It said, yes, Virginia, Santa Claus is real. And so she got to read it in the New York Times. Listen, if you read it in the New York Times, it's pretty real. Okay, so I'm reading it from the Washington Post, the New York Times, NPR, BBC, Associated Press. I will leave a link to one. You can find the rest. Okay, let your fingers do the walking, like they used to say. You know, like the old phone book. They are shutting down welfare incrementally. This is not the government shutdown I'm talking about. I'm talking about them changing to government cheese kind of stuff, right? So I'm gonna read some comments real quick, and then you'll understand. You know, I'm just telling you buy it while it's cheap. Let's see. Let's see. I'll go back to this one where Phantom 903 said that I believe will be around $6 a gallon. And yeah, I think it's gonna be about $4.50, but I'm with you. It could easily go there. You're right, brother. Milk is the pulse. Yep. And fuel is the... Stop that mess. All right. Can't read that. All right. So I heard that they were stopping the food stamps and going to start sending out boxes to the people. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. They want us to become dependent on them, so when the shit hits the fan, we're on their side. Yes, I believe that too. Snap. He's got a hole that I can see right through. Yeah, and he needs to go and buy some Elmer's glue. Yeah, I hear you, Dougie Fresh. You messing with me, man. All right, look. Techwood Homes, Carver Homes. That's what I'm talking about. Techwood, Carver, Bankhead Courts, Bowen. Those 4 names. Look them up, okay? Now, go further. When people realize that it's not the president who runs the country and it's the government that runs this shit, it might get better. Yeah, I gotta tell you, right now it's my belief that when they do this reduction, I believe is going to happen, because there's a lot of holdovers from the Obama administration that were blocking Trump from what he wanted to get done, whether you like one way or another. They're going to be gone. A lot of them already quit out of 800,000 and found new jobs because they couldn't afford to run without a paycheck for that long. So either way, however you look at it, there will be a reduction in force. Even if he opens the government back up, a lot have left. And when that happens, he can get more done. And then Pelosi and them are trying to block him. I think they're trying to do more than that to him. I've read into a whole few. Don't get me into the codes of it all, but I'm not blind. So first they want to talk about impeaching him, and I think they've done implied more. Anyways, so they're batshit crazy. So anyways, yeah, the government has been changing. He's draining the swamp. A lot of people are, I don't know if I know, I can't talk about Gitmo. I don't know. That's not something I know. And so I don't know if that's really happening or not, but people talk about it happening. I know for sure that there's a lot of changes afoot in the government, and it's going to be to reduce cost and to be more effective, and they are building the wall every day. Don't let them fool you. And it needs to be done because there's dangerous bad actors. They're finding prayer mats on the south border. There's bad people doing now. They're putting videos up of what they do. It's bad. But back to this part here, yeah, the government is treating everything like a checkbook. It ain't just you, it's government workers too. It's everybody. So let me try to hit this down arrow and go back where I was at. Let's see. Yeah, Techwood Homes, Carver Homes, Bowen Homes, Bankhead Courts, all of them, they closed them down. And those people were living there, and they're not doing nothing with the land right now. And it was to reduce costs. So if you think they're not going to cut your food stamps, they've already given eviction notices to people who are on HUD housing, because they know that in March that payment ain't going to be there. They're giving them a notice now so they don't have to evict them later. They're evicting them sort of now, saying you're going to have to come up with cash by that time, and they know they ain't got that time. So there's going to be more homeless. So let's see here. When people realize it's not, okay, I read that. Phone's dying, brother, catch you. Okay, I got you. Yep. Okay. Looks like those welfare queens will no longer be rejecting me over big sugar daddy government. You know, I wouldn't make that comment there, Lurch USA, but you did, and so I will speak about it. A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that women in this country who have rejected men are going to be seeking men to take care of them now, and not saying, hey, I can make it on my own. And monetarily and fiscally, you know, F-I-S-C-A-L-L-Y, fiscally, you're probably right. You know, or they're going to find their ex or somebody that they're going to have a different living situation, likely, because it just is what it is. Look at my girlfriend at the laundromat. That's where you get them all. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see. At least being a single man these days is probably a good thing. You only have to look after yourself. Yeah, and there's a talk about MGTOW is a fad, okay, that people have done, that they're tired of women and them trying to get them on child support and this and that. It's called Men Go Their Own Way, you know, and it's crazy that the whole world's gone crazy. Gillette razor company is trying to pit men against women. What they're doing is they're pitting the Dollar Shave Club against Harry's. They're out the picture now. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Get your preps in order, keep a low profile, and go gray man. Yeah, gray man. Gray man is an idea where you don't leave much of a footprint as far as like, you know, your picture and this and that. Which, understand that the reason that I don't pretty much film myself is I believe, like I said before in a different video, that they run a psyop, okay? So if you go to a concert, there's screens that they have subliminal messaging and split frame that's too fast for your eyes to perceive in your conscious mind, but it actually shows up and it's real, and it'll say stupid stuff like, don't, you know, use guns or have guns and this and that. And one guy, a friend of mine, the professor is what we call him, he had to remove one. It was his job, and it was stuck on that frame, and it broke it. And it was stuck, and while they're taking it down, it was all lit up like that, saying that. People are like, what is that about? That's what that's about. So there's a thing that if you turn an alligator upside down, it goes comatose. Same with a lizard. If you turn a shark upside down with its nose down, it becomes comatose. They've got videos on that. The human, a person, if you bend your neck back, it's just like if a cat grabs, if a lion grabs a lion cub by the scruff of the neck, they become comatose in a way, and they can take them somewhere safer and then drop them, and then they can move again. Cats do the same thing if you pick them up by the scruff of the neck. It doesn't work that well on dogs. So people, if you tilt your head back to about a 45-degree angle, okay, you become, it does something with the chemical balance of your brain and what's going on, and you become more susceptible to mind programming, which is why, listen to me, call me crazy, but this is the thing. Acoustically, music sounds better if it is below you. If you look at all the old Roman cathedrals, if you look at what they have in Sydney, Australia, the acoustics sound better. Like, why is the orchestra in a pit? Well, because the acoustics are better when they're in a hole. If you're up above something like the old gladiator style arenas, if you're looking down, acoustically, it sounds better and you can hear further. Your voice will project further. So why do they do concerts while they're standing up above you about 10 feet taller than you are? And you're at a 45-degree angle and they're about 6 foot tall, 5 foot tall. It's because they're mind programming you and you think you're in love with those people. I don't put myself on a video. Now, I'm not knocking people that do this, because please don't listen. I watch people who show themselves on video and they're talking and I dig it and I'm like, hey, but the truth is, that is one ingredient towards baking a psyop cake. That's one ingredient to brain manipulation and mind control. I don't want people thinking that they like me for what I look like. I don't want people thinking that they know me for what I look like. I'm trying to put my information on the internet. Yes, sometimes you see me, sometimes you don't, but that is something that I truly believe is a bad ingredient and a bad mix for baking a psyop cake. And I'm not doing that here. So, like I was saying, you at a 45-degree angle, the human head leaned back looking up at your concert person. These people, why do you think they screamed for the Beatles? Ah, they're out of their mind. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they're playing loud music and they're playing different messages in it, different messages, which I listen to loud music in my truck, but they're watching images on a screen that's flashing lights. Why epileptics are so sensitive to flashing lights and it makes them go into a seizure, because it's sensory overload. Sensory overload and sensory deprivation are two different ends of the same stick. Somewhere in the middle is mind manipulation by subliminal messaging and things that you see. It's your eyes and your ears that are the windows to your mind. Your eyes are the windows to your soul is what people say, but the window to your mind is your eyes and your ears. You learn either by hearing, which you're listening to me now, or seeing something. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, that I just went off into a tangent. I get that, I do that. But the point is that they are they're in the business of getting money, and if mind control just happens to be that business, you know, there you go. And Gillette did that in a video, and I didn't like it and I didn't appreciate it, because they were doing people wrong by manipulating their mind, and I'm against that. If you got a product, talk about the product. It wasn't even a commercial, it was a campaign ad, and it was what, you know, a campaign. They're running a psyop. So, but anyway, back to the food stamp thing. I talk about what I see because I have a group of individuals that look on different places on the internet, and we network in different internet places. Twitter is a good place to go if you want to be smart. That's where all the smart people are. You know, the intelligent people of the world are on there, and they put stuff up that they'll put it up in the news. So technically they could say, oh, it was in the news, we told people about it. Then they what? Take all your benefits. Well, that's not fair. They didn't send out a message to everybody. They just put it on the news. Who's got time to watch that? Some people work at night. Some people work the daytime. Ain't nobody got time for that mess. You know what I'm saying? So I go to places where they put up stuff that they think might be relevant to their followers, and you follow them, and you're like, oh, okay, he put that up. And it's always, it's what this one guy said. I got to put a link to this up in here too. He said he's got that there are digital soldiers, an army of digital soldiers on the internet, because the news media has failed us, that are out there, and they're getting the word out about what people are doing that might be wrong and this and that, and what's going on in the world that might be important to you, rather than you know, anywhere between SpongeBob and Kardashians 24/7. You know, when you want real news and you sit in front of the TV for 12 hours and you get one small nugget if you wait till 7 o'clock when they're promising to put it up, and then they don't even really talk about it enough, that's just enough to make you mad when you go to sleep. Well, you know, people are on the internet sharing knowledge. I'm sharing knowledge. I'm telling you they're going to a box program, and if I tell you something, you pretty well believe it. I tell people, hey, don't believe a word I say. Go look on the internet, go find it somewhere else, look up for yourself. Don't believe a word I say. But the truth is, like, if I tell you that a chicken dips snuff, you better check under his wing. You know what I'm saying? Because he's probably got a can of snuff under his. Call me what you want, say what you want, beat me up in the comments. I'm gonna put a link to where they are going to change it over to box food. Okay, this is not about the government shutdown. That's part of something else, but they're going to gradually go into that. So, but anyways, if anybody's got anything to say, you go ahead and say it. I'll check my comments here again. I won't be on here much longer, but I wanted to do this simply because I had a question or two. I can't answer all those comments, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna address this. I'm gonna straighten y'all out. It's not about the government shutdown. It's about them changing over to box food. I'll drop a link to one report that I found. Later I'll put more. If you're not getting mail in the form of a newspaper delivered to your house and reading it every day and having time for that mess, you're not going to see half the stuff they're doing to you that they gentlemanly talk about on the television, and then they can turn around and say, no, we told everybody. So I'm gonna have some coffee and chill, you know, but that's what's up. Believe it or not, take it or leave it. You'll find out soon enough. And then there'll be people searching for it on the internet, and they'll find this video. They'll be like, man, I wish I'd found this video 10 months ago. I'm telling you to get a income stream. Get an income stream. You know, start a business. Go hit the pavement, pound the pavement, find a job. Let's see. Big name Dems confirm the worst nightmare is coming. Yeah, you know what too? Hold on a second. Oh, I got a comment I got to read here, so hold on a second here. Oh, but it was about the gray man thing. Yeah, that's what gray men believe too, though. So my, you know, what I was saying about not getting into the psyop falls right into being a gray man too. So I got a guy that's following me, he's gray man. You know, it kind of is what it is. It plays hand in hand sometimes. Sometimes you could be doing something like I'm showing, where I show my hands working on something, and then in a different country where they find it to be, you know, appropriate, even though they're Muslim or whatever, to learn from it. Well, if they are, fine, you know, because I'm not trying to be Kardashian, you know, I'm not trying to be the next big thing or something, or famous for being well known, and whatever. But yeah, gray man, a lot of people are following that. Let's see. Indeed, it's all about OPSEC. Learn that from a lot of prepper channels. The most dangerous people you have to worry about is your hungry neighbors. I wouldn't worry about my hungry neighbors. I'd worry about the hungry people from the city who have listened and heard only one thing from their great-great-great-grandfather, and that one thing is that when something happens, you head for the hills. Guess what? Somebody owns those hills, and they'll shoot you if you're out there. And if you think you're gonna move into the woods and hunt and fish, if you don't own that property, you're gonna get killed, because the people there are gonna defend it. And then it's gonna be called justifiable. So it's not smart to head for any hills unless you got the title to that property. If you want to head for hills, go buy some hills. Buy something with a stream going through it. Buy something and put out some corn for deer to go out there, and make a food plot for deer, because you don't own them hills. So I'd be more worried about the people from the city, if you call it that, moving to the hills or even suburbs, and then thinking that they can get something from your house. There you go, because that is a problem. Millions of people in one city living next door to each other in an apartment, they'll last about a week and a half before they want to go roaming and trying to find food. And then even if they all go to the mountains of Tennessee or North Carolina, well, guess what? Even if they could hunt and fish there, that's going to be overfished and overhunted in no time flat, with millions of people out there that's going to shoot each other, try to shoot deer, don't know what they're doing. Some are going to starve to death, some of them are going to be killed by other people, and they're going to take what they got. Then those people are going to move on. I'd be looking more towards the Ozarks. I got a friend up there. He's even told me, hey, you know, there's land up here for sale. You know, all the Navy maps show that that's not going to be flooded. It's all in what you want to look at. So I would be more worried about living within 50 miles of a city, you know, even, because those people are not able to take care of themselves. And you hand them 20 bucks, a lot of people are gonna go straight to a restaurant and spend 20 bucks. If you have $20 right now, go buy 20 $1 cans of ravioli or canned meat. Corned beef hash is a good one that I would go to. Tuna is a good one, except it may be from Fukushima at this point, you know. Might go good with cesium-139 sauce, if you know what I'm saying. It's all nuked up. No microwave required. They say just take it out of the can, it'll heat itself up. No, I'll tell you, tuna is good, high in protein. Corned beef hash, they now have a roast beef hash. You believe that? If you're an old timer, if you're older, I'm getting older. Look, roast beef hash, that's high living right there, son. Man, I used to eat corned beef hash. You just kind of brown it. You don't have to even, you can heat it up. It's already cooked. But I brown it. It's potatoes and meat. That's all you need. 1 can of that. Okay, salmon. You can make salmon patties, but you could just fry it up or whatever in some butter. You could put it in aluminum foil and put it in the grill. You know, with some butter and stuff. I'll tell you, I would keep a good full couple of propane tanks for sure for your grill. I got a Coleman grill on this truck. I've been meaning to show what my little setup is. A flat iron skillet, so that way you could grill stuff and you can boil on a 2-eye burner. Don't buy a grill that's just a flat grill. Buy a 2-eye burner and convert it to a grill by putting an iron skillet on it. And if you just have to have a dome over it, I bought a stainless steel bowl the other day at Walmart for like $4 or $5, and I drilled a hole in it and put a knob on it, and I'm gonna drill a hole in it and put a thermometer in it, and that's the top of your grill. You're welcome. So you got a grill if you got a 2-hour burner. But you gotta have food, and rather than take $20 to a restaurant, take 20 bucks to the food store. Buy some canned goods like I'm talking about. Don't buy garbage. You know, a lot of the soups have a lot of salt in them. If you're prepping, think about this for a second. Your body has to equal that out by drinking water. If you're eating a certain kind of vegetable soup, or even some of their beef soup, beef stew, whatever, in the can, it's high in salt, you're gonna be drinking more water. You better stock up on water. That's what might get caught off if there's a power situation where, you know, EMP or something takes out power and they can't pump the water to you, okay? Get you a way of, you know, taking and cleaning water, you know, like not just a life straw, but, you know, a bigger container for it. Plan on filling up your bathtub. There's gonna be some stuff that would pop off if you had a shit hit the fan event, and that's the kind of stuff you'd be looking at, is water and food that don't make you want to drink more water. Okay, so let me go here. Let's see here. That's very true. Big name Dems confirm the worst nightmare is coming. Well, you know, it depends on what side of the aisle you like to support. I gotta tell you, I think they are the nightmare. But them leaving the country is not going to help them sit down and make a deal with the president. So that tells you we're looking at probably a prolonged, they're saying prolonged shutdown. I'm just saying what I see. I don't know. I don't claim to know. It's not good. And like I said, I would find you a revenue stream, and now you're competing with 800,000 other people that may be looking towards getting a job because they've been laid off and they can't afford to just sit there. So you got all them going to the canned bank, food bank, and churches. You got all the people that are fixing to lose their welfare benefits going to churches. The food banks are going to run out quick. They're always asking for more stuff. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for food and water and places to live. And they don't care that there's those homes sitting there empty, those housing projects. They don't care. They don't care that there's hotels that sit empty. They don't care. You know, so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. They don't care. They are running it like a checkbook, and they're going to save, like I said, $213 billion by changing your food stamp stuff over to boxes. It's going to happen. If you could save $1 million, they would say we're going to do it, but they're saving $213 billion. So, you know, honestly, with them not wanting to work together towards new funding for this or that, they're going to cut back and find that funding, and that's what they're doing. So get ready for it. Get you an income stream. I'm gonna chill. Y'all want to make some more comments, you go ahead, and I'm gonna get all. I haven't been the kind of person that has, like, say, 100 people in the room, and it's probably good because I'd be reading the comments and get me a little off track. But I see I got 7 people in the room. I appreciate all of you. If you like what I'm doing and my channel, you can click like, you can subscribe, you can share my videos with people, and I just talk about what's relevant to truckers. I help people out when they're in need and give them backpacks for the homeless. I also help out drivers with my tools. I'm in a fairly new truck, so I don't normally need them, but stuff breaks too. And as soon as it breaks, I'm gonna teach it, because I'm trying to keep drivers from having to spend their money in their pocket. They might want to take 20 bucks to a restaurant. I don't want them to have to spend $600 at the shop before they do that. It makes no sense. Or pay $1,700 from a wrecker. If I've got the knowledge, I'm putting it out there. I had a hard road to hoe starting out, okay? It was a difficult path for me. I don't want it to be difficult for other truck drivers. And a lot of you are not mechanically inclined now, but you will be when you're done watching my videos. My Fix-It vids is in one playlist, trucking tips in another. Bury yourself in them, because you cannot check the oil in a truck and drive it and still be doing well 6 years down the road. You got to know this stuff. You know, everybody's thinking, oh, well, if the truck breaks down, I'm going to get a hotel and whatever. Yeah, and then you're there and you're not making a check for 3 or 4 days, 5 days. Then you have to change jobs. Listen, if you know what's going on with your truck, you can plan it and you can call 10 different mechanic shops, see who can fit you in that night and get rolling again. Or if you have the tools, you can change your own airlines, you can change your own turbo boot, you can change your own alternator. Now, on the alternator, you need an impact to take the pulley off the front. Other than that, it's just like a car alternator, people. Disconnect the batteries, take the alternator off. I honestly almost wish my alternator would go bad so I can video showing how to change the alternator. That's where my heart's at. That's what I'm trying to do, is teach people what I know. And so when stuff breaks, I'm like, yeah, something else broke, I can video, because I got this. And I got you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm about. Everybody's about different stuff. But I saw this food stamp thing come up, I'm like, whoa. And that was on a different place on the internet, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to tell people about this, because this ain't right. So regular groceries are gonna go up, and so regular truckers, then it affects drivers. If it affects a driver, you know. Oh, one more thing that I have to put out there before I kick back and have a cigar. Listen to me, people. There's fake police, fake cops. You gotta watch for them, okay? Yeah, I know, trucking stuff's crazy. No, listen to me, listen to me. WSB-TV in Atlanta is an affiliate of another Chicago station, and they're an affiliate of another station, and I found them digging and digging. They did a report last night. They videoed the guy. He looks like he may be either mixed or he's Chinese mixed with white. I can't tell, but he's just a guy. He's riding down the road, right? So I told that so if you see the report and you see his picture on the right, that you'll know that that's the right guy. He told them in a report on television, and he showed the dash cam video of the fake cop. They're buying older Crown Vics. Now, I don't know if they're just going to rob you if they stop you, or if they're going to shoot you, probably, or if they're going to steal your car and it's a carjacking, or if they're stopping trucks and jacking trucks. I don't know. What I do know is that it's a bolo, okay? Be on the lookout that you need to know about as a driver, car or truck, on I-75, and he even followed the guy off the side of the road. The bad guy followed the citizen off this other road. But the bad guy was in like a cop looking car, undercover looking car, and the back lights is the only ones he turned on. That's the only one he had, I guess. So he put blue lights in the back of his window, hit the switch, and is flashing and gets in front of the guy like the guy's gonna stop because you're pulling him over. And the guy's like, something's weird about this. So the guy went around him and he went down the road, right? And so the cop finally, or it wasn't a cop, it was a fake cop. The old cop car, Crown Vic, whatever you want to call it, with the lights in the back, turned the lights off, but then wound up following him off the road. They're looking right now for that car. They only had a partial plate, and the police said that partial plate does not match anyone in any of our departments anywhere. So I'm sure that the GBI and the FBI and all of them are looking into it, and that's good. But people, we are the eyes and ears out here. We see what's going on. That person could want to hurt you or a family member or somebody you know if they're driving through that state. Listen, if you're going through Georgia, it's just something that's going on in Georgia. Watch for that car, especially on I-75 at night. Old, I guess it's a Crown Vic, it's black, with police lights in the back. It's a fake cop. It's bullshit, okay? It's a setup. Always watch for a setup. That's a red flag right there. I'm throwing it at you. You need to watch for that dude, because he's up to no good. No good can come of that. I don't think it was just some type of a prank or a trick. No, he was going to rob that dude. Maybe shoot him, maybe whatever. So it's been on the news. You can find it, you know. I'll try to find a link to it, maybe put it up on here too. But I put up a link on Twitter. It was sent to me. So that's what we do. We're networking. Telling you what's going on. But yeah, I do like a lot of mechanical stuff, and that was like the heart of what I was trying to do, and it kind of branched out into other stuff I thought drivers ought to know about, that you're just not going to find on channel 1 through 72 on your television. And yeah, part of it's the food stamp thing. They're not sending them a message ahead of time saying, by the way, find a job because food stamps are going to be declined by X amount, which I understand that there are people who are past the age of working. I understand that there are people who are handicapped and cannot work. I'm telling you though that for the people who can work, they're not sending them a note saying you might want to keep looking for your job, you might want to go back down to the labor department, you want to keep pounding the pavement and looking for applications, because they're going to change your food stamp benefits by cutting them almost in half and sending you a box of some food, and they're going to say that, you know, powdered milk and all is going to save them the 213 billion. Now it's a little lower number than the 213 billion, but then they also say in the end, if you include it all, it's 213 billion. That's the number they're trying to reach. So, well, I put a bunch of stuff in this one little video. I just wanted to address a few comments that I had, that I can't just type this. I'm better at telling it, speaking it. And I'll speak on something. If I see it, you know, I'll let you know about it. So, y'all, I'm gonna kick back and chill and have this coffee. I think I've done made my point for the day, I guess you'd say. But I hope everybody's doing good. If you're a driver and you're not doing good, you know what I'm gonna say. Go to the back of the truck stop and find some business cards, because there's another place to go for you. You'll find a home, and then you'll be doing good. These companies will rip you off if they can. And keep your head up, people. It's tough on everybody. Listen, I've been through it. I've been in the mountains and I've been in the valleys, just like everybody else. And you'll find, just like the widow's mite, the old story about the widow's mite, she gave more than the kings did, is what Jesus said, because all she had was 2 mites. It takes 13 of those to buy a loaf of bread back then, right? 2 little bitty pieces, 2 mites. And they gave gold and everything else, but that was nothing to them, right? Somebody like me that's been through it, I'm going to give you more than somebody who's never been in any kind of struggle will. And I'll give you, you know, more comparatively to what I have, period. So I'll put this out there. I'm gonna help you more. You know, that's just how I do it. And I've been there, and it's always a struggle. Life itself's a struggle. I don't know where I fall on what I think they ought to be doing. You know, there's 2 sides of the coin. There's one side of the coin that says, well, there's been people who've been abusing the system, and then there's the other side that says that all of them need it. You know, and like that guy was saying, there's going to be a bunch of what he called them welfare queens. I didn't, it was his words, but a lot of people who are lifelong recipients of that stuff, and they're going to be looking to all of a sudden change their mind on how they don't need a man. Yeah, that's going on too, because I watched this other guy's video, and then I watched another woman's video talking about how she was debunking that. I don't know about all that stuff. What I can tell you about, what I can speak on, is all the actual newspaper reports stating that they're going to box food instead of SNAP, instead of EBT, instead of welfare. You can call it food stamps, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You're not exempt. So I saw the comment on the guy say, oh, well, that's just that, it's not SNAP. Oh no, it includes all of it. And if you think you're immune because you're in California, California gets their money from federal funding. California falls under that umbrella too. So just because you're under the California whatever food stamp program, I've seen some people make comments, they think that's different. It's not different. It's all the same. So at first it'll be reduction of your stuff. They gotta pass it, and it will pass. It's gonna be a reduction of your stuff by 40% at least if you make $90 or more a month. So split it in half basically. And then they're gonna go further and say, look, it was a success. The states have been able to bring these to you, and you're gonna keep getting them. Only now it's gonna be 100% of what you get. Maybe you get a $5 check. Maybe you get a $10 check, because you might need gas. That's what they're gonna say. Because they're gonna say it's a food program, it's not designed to buy you a new car, or they're gonna say whatever you want. So for the people out there who were taking $200 worth of food stamps or EBT or whatever and selling them for $100 and trying to flip that and make cash out of it, they're not gonna be able to. That's gonna stop all that. They're only gonna have enough money to barely buy some food. And then they'll say, well, if you have a job, then you're off the food stamp program. And people are gonna have to get a job to supplement it, and it'll put them into the workforce. So that is what's gonna happen. It's not me. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just telling what's gonna happen. So I'll kill this truck for a second. Just didn't mean to have it making noise. Sorry if I was loud too. Just I had to idle the truck to have heat because it's freezing outside. So yeah, I just won't worry about my wiper blades or nothing either. You can say what you want. Feel free to make all the comments you want. And when I'm done and put this up a video, you can make comments then. Just, you know, don't beat me up about what's true. I'm just bringing the truth. It's in different news reports. You can talk with the New York Times or Associated Press or BBC or NPR, any of those, and argue with them about what's going on. Argue with the people in the House of Representatives why they're holding the government up. You know, I have no control over that. If you really want to have a comment that would do good, you know, send a message to Pelosi. Go at Pelosi on Twitter. It goes directly to her. And then you could maybe even go from at Pelosi to at McConnell, and then to at AOC and at all of them, and get them working together and say, hey, y'all need to work this out. You know, I'm gonna bring y'all together in one place now. Everybody talk to each other. At everybody. Say, come to my house. Welcome to my house. Come to my little spot on Twitter. Hey, you know, get political. You know, get into the process, because they're gonna run a game on you people. They're gonna run all over y'all like, you know, you're just gonna be hit by, you know, a bus if you're not aware of it. So I'm trying to make you at least aware of it, so it don't hit you like a ton of bricks. It'll just be like, okay, well, I knew that was happening. I planned for it, which is what I'm saying, plan for it, buy food, and you'll go further and you'll survive. If you can survive this shutdown, because they're talking about it's gonna be a long time. So let me shut up for a minute. I'm gonna turn this up and have coffee. Like I said, I hope everybody else got coffee. Have a cigar too. Oh, see what kind of cigar I got over here. I had got another chupacabra, but I got this. Yep, Cuban round. I'm gonna smoke a Cuban round real quick and have this coffee, and then I'm gonna get off this thing, people, because I got a job to do. I gotta work for a living, you know. It's good coffee though. That's another thing. See, people don't realize they had already cut it, by the way. They were already cutting the program incrementally. They started saying, you can't buy this or that with food stamps. They were already doing that. It's been in the works for a long time. It started back when they was kicking them out of banking courts and bond homes and all those places. Now, that's just one state. You can make that towards all states. I could give you a list of all kinds of them. I forgot the names of the other ones, and so there's a place in California that's got a whole city, if you call it that. It's a block, a bunch of tents, a bunch of homeless Americans, not people that are, you know, illegal immigrants or that. No, they give them a place to live. Oh, you think their Section 8 is gonna come running out? No, they pay for that. But an American needs a place to stay. Well, you see what happens. You know, but there's a whole tent city down there in California. And eventually they'll kick them out and make them be homeless somewhere else. You know, there's a mass exodus of actual people who were Californian residents that are just tired of the BS. And they're moving to Texas, where they don't have to pay any income tax, and they're moving to Utah because Utah accepts them. But Utah told them straight up. There's a whole video on a couple of them on that, about do people in Utah accept the people in California because they have a different way of seeing things, or, well, it is a kind of a thing. And the people from Utah say, hey, as long as they respect the way we want to live up here, they're welcome. But they start trying to turn it into Utah-fornia, then they gotta go. You know, with all the ideas of the government in California. There's a lot of people in California that don't agree with that mess. It's not all Californians, not even close. They want you to believe that. Just like they want you to believe that there's all these crazy people that have a hard time going to the right restroom. Well, I said something about that. They need a sign on the door that has the chromosome XX and the chromosome, a picture of the chromosome XY. Choose accordingly. There you go, that'll solve it. If you are XX, go in that one. If you are XY, go in that one. There's no argument. You know, it's scientifically proven. Your genetic code could send you to the right restroom. It might become helpful. Maybe that's how God intended it in the first place. Hey, let's put this in there in case they get confused. Once they can read their own genetic code, they'll know where to go. It's like a road map to the bathroom. It's problem solved. You know, you're welcome. Yeah. And that's just from an old man with a cigar having a cup of coffee. That's a little bit of intelligence that I've got. A little bit of knowledge anyways. It's a crazy world we live in. It's changing all the time. You know. I wish I had a better camera mount angle for you too, but if you look down the middle of your screen, you can see there's an American flag that's been waving at you. If I go any lower than that, I'm going to be advertising for a place I'm not trying to advertise for. So I hope you can understand that too. But it's been cold. I hope everybody's warm. Listen, if you want to do good in the world, I'm going to tell you what you could do that'd be the most good. Go to Walmart, buy some t-shirts, a pack of cheap t-shirts, and buy 2 packs or 3 packs or as many as you can afford of socks. Homeless people need socks more than they need anything. And if you know anything about jungle training, you'll understand foot rot. Get a bottle, a big gallon bottle, even if you split it up into little bottles, of Dr. Teal's Epsom salt. They got it in a liquid form now, and that's a medicine for curing athletes' feet. Those things right there would help a homeless, if you know of a homeless shelter in your area. I'll tell you what else would help too, and they need to do this. They need to get a homeless, a website. Now, don't beat me up and say, well, homeless people don't have internet. Listen to me. This is for people that would want to help them, so that you could have a list of all the homeless. Let's see. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. Yup. So I'm saying, even if you had to start a website, hey, if you could start a website for your state, start it and name it, you know, homeless shelter locations dot whatever, and send me a message about where it's at. If we could get 50 of those, it'd be great, you know, and have the location of, you know, here's the thing, they don't want to give out locations of battered women's shelters so that the person that's hurt them won't find them. But a regular shelter for either men or women, or even the local police department for them to get to a battered women's shelter, okay? And if we had lists of those, and you see a homeless person, and the VA, have a number to the VA, because the VA takes in vets, and they give them a place to sleep for the night, even for about a week or so. And if they ask for a psych evaluation, now this is gonna sound called crazy, okay, fine. If you tell them, hey, if you ask for a psychological evaluation while you're there, they have to give you a place to stay for how many days? So I'm just telling you, that's a little trick that some people do that are vets that need a place to stay, and they may or may not remember or know that. If they are a homeless vet, they can have a place to stay. So get a list of all the shelters, all the VA hospitals, all of the local police departments, sheriff's departments, so that you can find, if it's a battered woman situation, where you can find her a place to stay that they'll know about but you won't, so that you can hand that sheet out to a homeless person. And if you need, go on down the road and then call the sheriff and say, hey, listen, there's this guy and he needs a place to stay, and he said it's okay for me. You know, ask him first, say, if you need help, I can call a sheriff and we can see about getting you a place to stay for the night. If they're just panhandling, they may not want that. Truthfully, they shouldn't just be out there just doing that and not accepting the help you want to give them, but it is what it is. But if you call a sheriff and say, hey, do you have an open shelter that this person can stay in? And we need more shelters built. There should never be somebody that says all shelters are full right now because of the cold weather. That shouldn't even be a news report. That should be, we opened up our doors to our news studio so all these people could sleep here for the night because the shelter was full. That should be the report. Give me a break, you know. I think they should honestly take old army barracks, the old hangars, and convert them into hospitals for people who need to come right back over here and need care, but the VA can't fit them in. I think they should make old army barracks into training hospitals even for people who are training to be doctors, and then they can give those people immediate care and a place to sleep. You know, let them live on base. They're in the army, they're in the Navy, whatever. Let them live there as long as they want. Then turn in the old abandoned hangars and the abandoned bases into homeless shelters. Maybe even some of those old homes I was talking about, turn those into homeless shelters. Look, it is what it is. There's a need. Fill the need, you know? But socks and that Dr. Teal's soap, it's Epsom salt mixed with spearmint and that alcohol, that green alcohol. It's menthol alcohol. That kills anything on the feet. Those things and some t-shirts is great for a homeless person, and if you throw a backpack in with it, you, like I said, I'll put a link up to backpacks for homeless. And it's not that I'm not trying to continually beat the drum, but if the situation's not rectified and fixed, then it still needs to be heard about. So if you want to do good in this world and go forward, give these people that are homeless, especially in the cold, a place to stay. I mean, get them notepads and a pen. Then give them some quarters for some phone. Well, there's not many phone booths in some places, there's not, but help them out to make phone calls and give them a phone in the shelter so they can find a job. I'm sure they would like to have one. They just happen to be homeless. I shared a vet the other day that was, you know, he was handicapped, but he was looking for a job. I shared his thing quite a few times. A lot of people shared it. In Ohio area, you know, share stuff like that on social media. People that are on Facebook, go on there and do it. If you stuck on Twitter, go on Twitter and do it. The least you could do is one click to help somebody out. You know, I don't know. What do I know? Like I said, I'm just a dumb truck driver. But if I find something that, you know, comes up in the news that they're not putting in mainstream, but they're just putting it up there, it's like just plausible deniability, so that they can later they can go back and point to it, say, no, we put it in the news, you should already know that that was going to happen to you. I'll put it up on my stuff. That's about all I got for you people. I've been on here a while. You got any questions? You know, I'm just chilling. So I'm gonna get off this thing in a sec. But I wanted to put that up because I had some comments and questions about the food stamp thing, and I'm like, no, it's not the government shutdown, it's boxes. They're going to it. They're changing. It's going to be a new deal, like Roosevelt's New Deal. I don't know if they're going to open up TVA and, you know, create more jobs. I don't know if they're going to build more roads. I done talked about my 4-point plan. They need to build more trucking, parking on every city, especially around Miami. Hammond, Louisiana is a place that needs more parking. Places in New Jersey that charge for it need some free parking. Let's see. So am I, brother. Yeah, I got you. You know, like I said, though, if you want to know what's going on, set up a network of people that look into different news reports and stuff, and on social media. Even set up a page. If you're on Facebook and your friends are just showing kitty cat pictures and selfies and crap, set up a page on there, say news sharing, you know, whatever. If you think it's relevant, put it up here, and you'll start getting more of this information, like from the Washington Post, New York Times. Post that kind of stuff up yourself and get them started in that direction, and say, this is the direction we're going in. We're wanting to show stuff that's news but not news, stuff that they're burying under cat stuck in a tree fell in the woods kind of garbage. You know, person breaks down, another person changes the tire. Great. That's going to help you in your day, right? It's a waste of time. It's a psyop. It's propaganda, misinformation, disinformation. Mostly disinformation. That's the easiest way to waste your time. But I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna get off this thing. Anybody wants to say anything else, let me know, because I don't want to waste nobody's time. Let me know what you got. Hit me with it. 5 people in the room, 3 likes. Hey, I appreciate the ones that click like, and I appreciate the ones that are in the room. I appreciate everybody that showed up, and I'm gonna make this a video. If we just got the strong silent type in here, that's cool. I'm just giving you an opportunity to make a comment. Don't see it and ask. And I'm gonna get down the road. Last comment I got was, so am I, brother. So Phantom 903, thank you for being here. Everybody, let's see. Be safe, bro. These truckers need to stay together and save our industry also. Yup. Watch out for the fake cop, you know. And like I was saying, if you got a new driver, you could share them to playlists with them. That's all I really care about, is the fix-it vids and trucking tips. It's not about me getting views. It's not about whatever that, you know, Google and I have a pretty good understanding that they're sharing what they want to share, and they put up what I want to put up, and I'll do what I want to do, and it's, you know, it is what it is. So I'm pretty happy about what it's doing, and even if I only get 30 views on the videos that are important to me, that means 30 real ass drivers learned from it and it helped them. So if you got a new driver, say, hey, check out trucking stuff in this thing here. Tell them about the other YouTubers too on here. You know, it's good. Everybody's got a reason to watch everybody's other stuff if they're interested. But tell them about my little thing that I'm doing on the mechanical side to keep them from broke down on the side of the mountain and freezing, you know, because it's cold out there. Y'all stay safe. I'm gonna get down the road, and I'm also, like I said, I'm on Twitter. If you want to go on Twitter, that's where the smart people are at. They're very intelligent, and they're teaching what they know. And you know, it's a crazy world we live in. We just gotta stay on top of what they're doing next, so we know how to move. You know, we gotta figure out how we're gonna survive. If you don't have millions of dollars in the bank, you might want to listen to somebody that's telling you that somebody might be taking something away from you. So I'm gonna get down the road. Y'all stay safe now. Okay, I'm out. Peace.